The difficulty we have is we feel there's nobody fighting for us or speaking for us in terms of political entities, right? I know this. I see this. I'll give you a perfect example. Here in the Daily Caller today, Alexis Levinson. Mitch McConnell, your Republican leader in the Senate, up for re-election in Kentucky. But he doesn't care. Shutting down the government will not stop Obamacare. And what's fascinating, I had Mike Lee on this program yesterday. I had him on the program where he announced his effort to try and defund Obamacare. And he says time and time again, our goal is not to shut down the government. We would fund all aspects of the government except for Obamacare. Now, I don't even agree with that. But that's Mike Lee's position and Ted Cruz's position and Rand Paul's position and Rubio's position and the position of 12 or 13 of them. So why would the minority leader, that would be the Republican leader of the Senate, make the Democrat argument and undermine these guys and gals from the get-go? Let me read this. Shutting down the government would not block Obamacare from taking effect, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said. The comments, he said, don't offer any help to Republican Senators Marco Rubio, Mike Lee, and Ted Cruz, and I might add Rand Paul, who've been pushing for their colleagues to vote against any continuing resolution that does not defund the Obamacare law. They argue it's the last chance to get rid of the much-derided law. If Congress does not pass a continuing resolution to fund the government past the end of September, the government will shut down. But what does that have to do with this? What they're saying is, House, right now, pass a continuing resolution, fund everything but Obamacare, and send it to the Senate. But Boehner won't do it. And if you've listened to this program over the years, you know why. Because he's a coward, that's why. He's not a conservative. For all his yammering, he supports Obamacare. What do you mean? He's done nothing, I repeat, nothing effective as Speaker of the House to chip away at it. Zero. In his first public comments on the issue, Mitch McConnell hinted at disagreement with the defund approach. I'm for stopping Obamacare, but shutting down the government will not stop Obamacare, he said at a meeting with healthcare workers. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? They surrender right out of the box. Where was McConnell on amnesty on the Senate bill? Nowhere. He conferred, in essence, his position of leader on John McCain. Then he votes against it, like we're going to be fooled. Oh, well, great, he was against it. He's the minority leader. He didn't do a thing to fight it. The problem is the bill that would shut down the government wouldn't shut down Obamacare, he said. Most of it is permanent law. Now, let's listen to this. Permanent law. He says most of this is permanent. Have you ever heard of a permanent law? Are these guys not lawmakers? So in other words, when a Congress, since defeated in 2010, passes a law, it's permanent? Did anybody tell Obama that? Does Obama believe in permanent law when the law doesn't represent his policy preferences? No. He's taken this permanent law and he's already rewritten it, Mitch. So it's permanent law for Republicans. When Democrats pass these monstrosities, they can't do a damn thing about it. And yet the President of the United States, it's his program, and he's amending it and changing it, and he doesn't even have the constitutional authority to do it. So let me get this straight, Mitch McConnell. Are you going to say, Barack Obama, it is unconstitutional for you to make these changes to this law, therefore we are going to fight you and shut down the government to stop you? No, you surrender. Which is exactly why he's rolling you. Which is exactly why conservatives and constitutionalists and even other people who believe in the rule of law have had enough of this. Most of it's permanent law and not affected by that. It also wouldn't stop the taxes that are going in on medical devices, taxes that are going in on health insurance premiums. Well, I'm totally confused now, aren't you folks? Didn't Boehner and Cantor and the other one, didn't they run around and say, we have voted to repeal Obamacare 40,000 times? And knowing full well they weren't going to repeal it by the method they were using. Now they're all flummoxed because some of the conservatives actually have read the Constitution. They, well, wait a minute. Spending, taxing, borrowing has to be initiated in the House, so don't fund it. Send a continuing resolution to the Senate that funds the rest, but not Obamacare. No, we can't do that. That's permanent law. Only Obama can change the law by presidential fiat. We in Congress, the lawmakers, we can't change the law. And then when you raise this, you're just playing to the base. What would Joe Scarborough say, the morning schmo? and his friends, Chuck Schumer, Kathleen Parker, and what's the other one? Jennifer Rubin, yes. What would they say? So there you have it. The Republican leader of the Senate has surrendered, but he always surrenders, quite frankly. The Speaker of the House has no intention of doing any of this. He's very, very busy promoting amnesty. And this is why you and I are disgusted and fed up with them. And for good reason, I might add. I've asked repeatedly, what does the Republican Party stand for? And the answer is nothing. Nothing.